Welcome to Soul Sister Stories, where we dive into profound journeys of spiritual awakening with inspiring women. I'm Rika Markel, your host on this journey. My passion is to empower you to tune into your soul's whispers by presenting you the stories of soul sisters who have dared to dream and live extraordinary lives while helping others doing the same. Hi, everyone. We are here with the new Soul Sister Stories, and I'm very excited about my guest today. Her name is Schwindt. She's a dentist, and she has a very, very, very good story. So as you all know, people that are following Soul Sister Stories, we are interviewing here women that had an experience, a spiritual awakening, something hard that they went through, and they took that knowledge and that experience, and they are now helping other women to get to the other side, and they don't have to do it alone. So Laura, thank you so much for being here. I am so happy you're here, and I'm also very honored that I can call you my friend. So welcome.
Oh, thank you. I'm extremely honored to be here and love having you as my friend. This conversation is just something that I'm looking forward to because whenever we talk, we have really good insights and fun conversations, and we think, wow, why didn't we record that?
That is so true. That is so true. So, Laura, I'm going to ask you what I ask every single of my guests. Just go ahead, introduce yourself. I'm not going to do it for you. I would love to the listeners to know who you are.
Well, who I am, gosh, that's a deep question, right?
Yeah.
If I think back way when I was a little girl, I was so in tune to myself and so in tune to the world. I was just one of those introspective kids, loved playing by myself, loved imagination, loved being outside. I just craved being outside. And I also craved close connection. And fast forward, started down the school route and started getting into that achiever mindset, right? Like, got to get the good grades, got to make a successful life career wise. So just started achieving. And through that journey, really got out of touch with who I was and started down a path of success that was what I thought it was mine, but I think it was really somebody else's idea of success. And just kept going and went to dental school, became a dentist, traveled around the country with my husband, who at the time was training to be an ER physician. So had several different jobs, several different associate positions, and then finally settled in my small hometown and had another associateship job that really went sour. And at that point, I thought, I'm going to open my own practice. That's the answer. So more achievement, more doing, more, striving, and, had a great practice. I loved it. I loved my patients. I loved my team. But during this time, I started having, incredible physical issues. And, it started kind of small headaches, backaches, kind of some arthritis in your hands, neck aches, but progressed to like stomach issues, skin issues, full-blown anxiety attacks, panic attacks, wasn't sleeping. I felt like I was absolutely going crazy. And if I look back, hindsight, it was my soul. It was my inner person kind of tapping and trying to get my attention. And I wasn't listening.
We all have that issue a little bit, I think.
Right. I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And it wasn't until we had a medical diagnosis that it was a genetic medical diagnosis that we found in my oldest son first, and then determined that all the kids had it, and then that my husband had it as well. And my husband ended up needing emergency surgery. And that was kind of like the shakeup, right? That was the, wow, what are we doing? We're not even enjoying life. We're just pushing, going, always looking outward for something to make us whole, to make us happy. And it's exhausting. And it was at that moment I hired my first life coach. And I credit her with saving my life because the very first assignment she gave me was to wake up 15 minutes early and do absolutely nothing.
Amazing. I
No,
love that. I love that. I love it. This is so good.
I know. I was so angry. I thought she was crazy. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. First of all, I have so much to do. And second of all, I'm exhausted. And you're telling me to get up earlier and do nothing. Like, how is that going to help me?
Yeah, for a person that is only doing and has not enough hours in a day, that must have been a crazy assignment. I can't imagine. Oh my
It was
God.
so crazy. And it was so uncomfortable because I hadn't been quiet with myself for years.
Yeah.
And so, but I was paying her and I knew I had another call in 3 weeks. So I was going to do it because I wasn't going to come to that call and say I didn't do it. Right. So I did it, but it was uncomfortable. And the most uncomfortable was probably like, I don't know, 5, 6 days in when I started like tuning in again. I was like,
I get goosebumps
oh,
when you say this. I can so feel it. Oh my God, this is good.
yeah. And yeah, I'm glad I stuck with it because at that moment I wanted to quit. Like just let me get up 15 minutes and turn on the TV and watch HGTV or something and just numb out, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather do that because some of those hard truths were coming to the surface. Some of that, just the knowing that you had kind of let go of this magical piece of you for so long. And where would you have been had you not let go of it or dimmed it out or tuned it out? So it was hard, but that became the gift that transformed my entire life. That was like the moment, like just starting to get those signals again, those intuitive guidances, that knowing that you are magic and you
Yeah.
don't need anything outside of yourself.
Yeah, that's true. And it's interesting because you told us that when you were a kid, when you were young, how connected you were. And so this is like a thread that I see through all the Soul Sister stories, because it's something that all of the women said. When I was a kid, I was so connected. And I find that interesting that this is coming up because I'm just realizing it as we speak, because that was how you started. So I'm like, oh my God, everybody said that. This
Mm-hmm.
is so interesting. So it means that it is definitely the stuff outside of us that makes us disconnect. It is not the stuff inside of us that is making us disconnect. And then it comes and it comes and it comes, and then all of a sudden it explodes, and then we have to do something to fix it. The fact that your coach told you to do nothing, I think this is brilliant. And the people that are listening, this is very expensive advice. If you can do this, then you already are ahead of the curve.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened then? Like, you guys went through this very difficult period of time. You had your own office, and I know what happened, but I want you to tell the audience what happened. What did you do by being?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Well, it was a journey of several years. And during this time, as I was kind of waking up again, I lost every single member of my team except one. One by one, they all quit, like within a 2-month time period. And I felt like the
The
biggest
universe has
loser,
such a sense of humor. It is unbelievable. Oh
right?
my,
Right.
yeah.
And I just felt like I am a loser. Like, and I can't even be a good boss. But amazingly, one by one, the people that were meant to be there showed up. And I really think of them as my dream team. They were my dream team then. And they helped me through the next phase, which was finding out that this wasn't the only path for me. And
You
then
were meant for more.
I was meant for more. I had a different calling. But that was a journey in and of itself. I had identified with being a dentist for so long. that had been my life besides my family and my kids. So I really didn't have any hobbies or interests that I had been actively. So I felt like, what would I do? But we decided to, after my husband's surgery, we decided, it was our 20th wedding anniversary that summer. And so we decided to go to Italy as a family. And that trip just really changed us. And we decided that we wanted to live differently. We wanted to not be location independent or location dependent. We wanted to be location independent. Yeah. And so we sold everything. We sold our house. We sold the practice. We sold almost all our stuff. We sold a car. So we only had one car, and we moved to the mountains in Oregon. And that was sort of my healing time, I think, because the mountains of Oregon were really similar to where I grew up in Colorado. And I just felt this deja vu. I mean, every time we'd go for a hike or every time we'd go out, it would just hit me just so hard. Smells, feelings, tastes, sights. Like I had been here before. And I really think it was nature healing me from all of the doing and all of the achievement, and just taking me under her wing and saying, let's get you back to who you are. So it was during that time that I had coached with my coach for about a year. And at the end of that year, I was just so moved with how she had transformed not just me, but the way I thought. And I said to her, I wish I could give this gift to every woman dentist, because if I went through it, there's got to be more. And she said, well, why can't you? And I was like, well, because I'm a dentist, because I can't, my mind was still trying to, my ego was still trying to keep me small, I guess. But fast forward then when we were in Oregon, and I was like, do I go get an associateship job? What do I do? But then I remembered her saying that, and I thought, this is what I want to do. And so that's the start.
That's the start, and that's when it all began. And then I know that even then, what I think is very interesting to notice, and that is that there is different chapters in what's going on. And I think a lot of people, and I think women in particular, they want to jump, like they know that this is not it, and then they want to jump to something that they want. But there is always like that period that you have to allow things to unfold in order to know what's good for you. Like, we know each other for a while, I think already like 5-6 years now. And so I was witnessing a big like quantum leap that you made from where you were, where I was, and like we were growing together, which was very beautiful. But there is this journey. It's a journey of self-discovery. And even when you think you know, you don't know. And I think that idea of I really don't know, and being open to allow it to unfold. And that's what you probably found in the mountains, like when you were in nature. I know when you do those nature hikes, they're just beautiful, and they're just magnificent. That's the word, I think. And I can imagine how much inspiration came there, how much insight. And I think you need that time. You need to give yourself that time to unfold. And so the things that are happening now in your life and what they happened then, what the seed was planted that you were going to help other women, but then it was still like a search. How am I going to do that? So how did that happen? What happened?
Yeah, so my husband had started this coaching program just for his own self-development. Really liked it. And he suggested, actually, he said, maybe you should try it, just see what you think about it. So I think there was like a trial period or whatever. And I did that, and I just got hooked, because it was all, the coaching program I did is based on ancient wisdom and modern science. And so it's a melding of those two. And having that scientific background, I love the science of it, but having that spiritual desire, hunger, craving, I love the ancient piece of it, that these thoughts and these these ideas people were having thousands of years ago. They were creating their lives thousands of years ago. It's just beautiful to me.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. And so I just got hooked and I went down that path and got my life coaching. I'm a heroic performance life coach certified. And then I was really scared to get back into dentistry. That was hard for me because first of all, I felt like an imposter, right? Like, who's going to listen to me? She quit being a dentist, right?
Yeah, it's like when our identity gets like shaken up. You are not a coach, you're a dentist. You're not this, you're a mom. You're like we get all those labels on our head. And so then all of a sudden our soul comes up and that is like a whisper, and then it becomes like a little bit louder. And they're like, who do you think you are? Our whole life we were a dentist, a mother, a wife, you know. I hear you. I think all everybody that is listening gets you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just so that was a challenge, and it was also, and maybe like you said, it allowing it to unfold, because I think I still needed to heal from this path that I had allowed to get me, farther away from who I am. Right? Like I had just followed it,
Yeah.
kept doing it. So I still, it still took time, but eventually just hooking up with some what I call angels that believed in me and encouraged me and helped me meet other people that said, yes, this is needed. You have a gift. This is what you should do.
Yeah.
And
I also think that you need a little bit of time. And I know that you don't need the time. You can do it like in an instant. But that is when I look back. And it's like Steve Jobs said, you can only connect the dots looking back. And so you see people doing things like they have an overnight success, but it's never an overnight success. It's always a journey. And also, it is not about what you do. It's about who you become. And that person that you become, that is the person that is going to do all that good in the world, because your old person is not capable of doing that. So you have to take on another persona. So you have to give yourself the chance to become that person that is now the coach. And let go of the dentist. I'm not saying that you don't use that experience, but you have to let go of that mask. You're not that persona. So you need to step into another version of you that is going to be that coach.
Yeah. Yes. So wise. So wise. And that I think, like you said, that, you come to the realization that you don't need time.
Yeah.
That you can create that anytime you want. You just have to believe. What is it that Joe Dispenza says? I think believe
for your future,
become, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
but it's like, it's 100% that way. So, but now, and that's where I think where my passion comes from, bringing the stories of women like you out, is because I think that because of your story and because of the fact that you're now helping other women, if they allow it to unfold, they can go so much faster because you will have more faith in them than they have in themselves. So now you can go out and other women can borrow your faith because it's happening anyway. You know how it goes. And so they can go so much faster because they have now a life coach, or somebody who did it. I'm so convinced that the right people will show up for you. There are a million coaches, but you can only take so many people you can only help so many people on their journey. So we have a lot. And in these times, there's so much need for support, so much need. So tell us a little bit about how you now support women. What is your approach? How do you help them? What's your programs? Give us the whole rundown.
You're so sweet. Well, I have a business partner. So Dr. Karen Tyndall, she is a former dentist from the UK. And her and I co-founded what we call the Mint Door. And we call it the Mint Door because mint being refreshing and a door into a new way of living.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful.
And so we support women dentists and their teams through life coaching, either one on one or group life coaching. We also do workshops and well being retreats. And so we really believe that it starts with the foundation of holistic well being, that if you can start there and get that in tune, then great things, possibilities, and a life that you can co-create from a place, sorry, I have a tickle, of well-being.
Yeah.
And
And yeah, that is exactly, I think there's not enough people that understand that having a professional life is very, very, how do you say that? It can be debilitating if you have to do it alone. And specifically, what you are a dentist, when you're in the dental field, and I know because I'm also in the dental field, it can be so lonely and it can be so like nobody understands really what you're doing unless you're another dentist. So it's so valuable that you're helping other dentists because you were in their shoes. You know what they did, you know how they feel, you know what their struggles are. And again, you can help them go so much faster and not having to go to that burnout or to go to all that drama, to go to the immune diseases and to go to all the stuff that is happening that we see happening in the world, you know?
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
cool.
that brings so much joy to me to be able to see the aha moments like, oh, I don't have to go down that path.
Exactly.
I can create the way I want to operate in this world. And that's a beautiful thing. And so, and then I coach personally. I still have my own individual coaching business. It's heroic performance coaching, and that's mostly one-on-one. And but I do groups if there's a team that wants some of that as well. So, and do workshops with that as well. And that again is that blending that ancient wisdom, modern science, and self-mastery. It's a big piece of it is self-mastery. So
Yeah, for sure. I
yeah.
know.
Yeah, right.
We're fighting with that thing in our head all the time.
All the time, right?
So I will put all the links on how you can reach Laura down below. So don't worry, you're gonna be able to find her. And another thing that I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want to make it too long, but there's one last question that I ask all my guests, and that is if you have one thing that you would like to share with the audience that you know that will help them.
I think wake up in the morning and expect what you want. Like, really think about it. Like, before you get out of bed, like, think about getting into bed at 10 p.m. or whatever, and think about how you expected your day. I think that's really powerful to put out expectation and expecting what you want and how you want to feel. Because I think that sometimes we just let the world kind of whip us around during the day. And if we just take some time to really connect and then ask for help. Ask for help. Say, this is what I expect. I don't know the how, but I trust that you will show me the way.
Yeah. I think that is extremely powerful. I get goosebumps, and I'm not sure that I would recommend people that are listening to this go back, write down what Laura just said, read it a couple of times, because this is really the key to self-mastery. It is knowing what you want to expect, because most people don't even know what they want. They know what they don't want. They don't know what they want. And because they only know what they don't want, that's what they're thinking about. So that's what's going. And what, like you say, expect it to happen because it is going to happen. It's a universal law. Whatever you have in your head that you expect to happen, so you better put some effort in what you expect. Like you need to think about that because our body mind is created to expect the worst because that comes from in the old age. It expects we have to make sure we're safe. There is no danger around us. So you need to do that consciously. So consciousness is everything. Mm-hmm. So I think this is an amazing thing to close this episode with. And is there anything else, Laura, that you want to share with my audience?
Just get quiet. Get those moments of quiet in, because I think they're really important in today's world. Put your phone away, go for a walk. You don't have to sit and do nothing. Quiet for everybody is different, but put your phone away, disconnect, and just be with yourself.
Wonderful. I love that. And with this, I'm going to end this episode of Soul Sister Stories, and I see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. If our journey today resonated with you, please consider subscribing and liking this video to support our growing community. For more insights and resources, be sure to check the links in the description below. They're filled with valuable information and support to guide you on your spiritual path. Remember, your soul's journey is unique and magnificent. Stay connected, keep exploring, and let's continue this journey together in our next episode. Until then, keep listening to the whispers of your soul and embrace the life of your dreams.